You know, for each and every organization, finance is very essential. So finance is called as what? Lifeblood of the business. You know, the return for shares is called as what? Dividend. In the same way, the return for debentures is interest. So when you invest on shares, whatever the return you get, that is called as what? Dividend. Each and every equity shareholders will have voting right. Whereas for the preference shareholders, there is no voting right, but they will get a fixed rate of dividend. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. My dear students, today I am going to discuss the second unit of the subject Financial Accounting and Reporting, and this is for second SEM BBA students of Mysore University. And the unit 2 name is Issue of Shares. So when you hear the word issue of shares, you might be familiar about this concept because already you had this concept in your second PUC. So once again, we shall recall this, what is your shares and how they are going to issue, and it is a very important question where you can expect for 10 marks in your question paper. So let us begin the session with the introduction as well as meaning of shares. So to start up with the introduction, so you know, for each and every organization, finance is very essential. So finance is called as what? Lifeblood of the business. So in order to undertake the business activity, finance is very important. So how they are going to arrange the finance? So if you take about a large company which needs huge amount of capital or huge amount of finance, so how they are going to raise? So whether they will have by itself? No. So they have to borrow from the outsiders, or they have to issue shares as well as debentures where they can borrow from the public. Now here also share means what? So it is a part of your share capital. Suppose if the organization needs 100 crores, then what the organization will do? Somehow 50 crores they will arrange by itself, and remaining 50 crore they will issue to the public in the form of shares as well as debentures. So that amount of 50 crore, what it has to be raised by issuing of shares. So that 50 crore is called as what? Share capital. Now what do you mean by share? A share is a part of your share capital. Now 50 crore is the amount which has to be raised by the company. So this is just an example here. So 50 crore, it has to be raised by issue of shares. So this amount is called as what? Share capital. So this amount is called as share capital. Now whether a common individual or a normal public can give 50 crore to the company? No, it is not possible. So now this 50 crore is divided into smaller units of rupees 10 each. So each unit consisting of rupees 10 each. So this 50 crores will be divided into number of units of rupees 10 each. So where a common people can borrow that, or common people can purchase those shares and invest in the company. So 10 rupees is a small amount. So in the same way, number of units can be purchased by a single person. So that is called as what? Now the smaller unit which is being divided is called as what? Share. Now what do you mean by share? A share is a part of your share capital, is called as what? Share. Now go through the meaning of share here. The total capital of the company is divided into unit of small denomination. Now here the whole capital is divided into smaller units. Now this rupees 10 is what? It is a smaller denomination. Each such unit is called as what? Share. Now these rupees 10, whatever they have divided into smaller unit, so that each unit is called as what? Share. For example, if the total capital of the company is 10 lakh divided into 1 lakh units of rupees 10 each unit of rupees 10 will be called as what? Share. So here I had given the example, this whole amount is called as share capital. Part of share capital which is divided into smaller units, so that small unit is called as what? Share. Thus in the above case, the company of 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each, share must be numbered so that they must be identified. So in order to identify, each share will be numbered serially so that each number of shares can be identified easily. Now the concept is simple. the whole share capital which has to be raised by the company by issue of shares. So that whole share capital is divided into smaller units of small denomination. So each unit is called as what? Share. The other common definition of share is what? A share is the share in the share capital. It is the share of the whole share capital. That is called as what? Share. Now let us see the nature of shares. The shares of the company are movable property, which means that it can be transferred from one person to another. So movable property transferable in the manner provided by the Articles of Association of the company. So in the Articles of Association, which is one of the important document of the company, where it is mentioned in that how the shares can be transferable, how the shares can be transferred from one person to another person. In the same manner, they can transfer shares from one person to another because it is called as what? Movable property. Shares of the company are treated as goods. Under the Sales of Goods Act 1930, this can be bought as well as sold. So even the shares is considered as well as a goods, where it can be purchased as well as sold. So as per Sales of Goods Act 1930, so share is considered as a goods where it can be bought as well as sold. So this is about your nature of shares. So what you have to remember? So shares is a movable property which can be transferred from one person to another, and as per Sales of Goods Act 1930, it is considered as a goods where it can be purchased as well as sold by the company. Next, this is an important concept, types of shares. So under section 43 of the Companies Act 2013, a company may issue two types of shares. So what are the two types of shares? We have preference shares as well as equity shares. Now let us see individually what is this preference shares and what is this equity shares. Now if you hear the word preference, so which means what? The importance is given more for this particular type of shares. Preference is given more for this particular type of shares. Now coming to the first one, preference shares. Preference shares are those which has the following two rights. So let us see what are the two rights where a preference shareholders has. So the first one is they have a right to receive dividend at a fixed rate. So what would be the rate of dividend for the preference shareholders? Now you know the return for shares is called as what? Dividend. In the same way, the return for debentures is interest. So when you invest on shares, whatever the return you get, that is called as what? Dividend. Now under preference shares, they have the right to receive fixed rate of dividend before any dividend is paid to the equity shares. So before payment which is made to the equity shareholders, first preference will be given to the preferential shareholders where they have a fixed rate of dividend. When the company is wound up, they have the right to return of capital before that of equity shareholders. So what are the two rights they have? One, they will get fixed rate of dividend and first preference will be given to the preference shareholders. Then after, if any profit is left, then the profit goes for equity shareholders. And the second right is when the company is in a position to wound up, then the capital of the shareholders, preference shareholders will get their capital before getting to the equity shareholders. In the sense, the first preference will be given to the preference shareholders in repayment of capital when compared to your equity shareholders. In addition to the above, the preference shares may carry some more rights such as the right to participate in the excess profit when a specified dividend has been paid on the equity shares or the right to receive a premium at the time of redemption. Now one more preference or one more right what the preference shareholders has in the sense. So after the payment to the equity shareholders, if there is any excess profit, then those profit will be given to the preference shareholders. But they will get a fixed rate of dividend in the beginning, and after that the profit will be distributed to the equity shareholders. And again, if there is any excess profit, then this preference shareholders will get that rate of dividend. So this is about your preference shares. Now coming to the second type, that is equity shares. So let us see what is this equity shares. Equity shares are those shares which are paid dividend only when the profit are left after the preference shareholders have been paid fixed rate of dividend. So you know, for preference shareholders we will pay fixed rate of dividend, and after the payment for preference shareholders, if there is any excess profit is left in the business, then only the equity shareholders will get the rate of dividend. In other words, there will be no fixed rate of dividend on the equity shares. If in a particular year there is no profit or insufficient profit, the equity shareholders will receive nothing. Now, what is the advantage for the equity shareholders in the sense? Suppose if there is excess profit, they will get high rate of profit, that is high rate of dividend. But if there is no profit, that would be the disadvantage. Why? Because if there is no profit, then the equity shareholders will not get any rate of dividend. So that would be the disadvantage. If the company earns more profit, they get higher rate of dividend. As regards return of capital, equity share capital is returned only when preference share capital is returned in full. Now, what happens here? So, once the preference shareholders are paid in full, after that if any profit is left, then it will be distributed to the equity shareholders. But the advantage is that if there is high rate of profit, then this equity shareholders will get more rate of dividend. But if the organization is in loss, if the company is in loss, or after distribution to the preference shareholders, if there is no profit left in the business, then the equity shareholders have to suffer because they don't get the rate of dividend. Equity shareholders have voting rights. So this is one of the advantage for the equity shareholders and control the affairs of the company. Now, equity shareholders will have voting rights. So here through the equity shareholders, the board of directors will be selected and they will undertake the affairs of the business. So the advantage for the equity shareholders is that they can elect the board of directors through their votes. So each and every equity shareholders will have voting right. Whereas for the preference shareholders, there is no voting right, but they will get a fixed rate of dividend. So this is about your equity shares. Now let us see the distinction between equity shares and preference shares. So coming to the first one, basis of distinction, equity shares and preference shares. So the first one is rate of dividend. So how the rate of dividend will be there for the equity shareholders? The rate of dividend on equity share is not fixed. So I have already told you the rate of dividend for the equity shareholders is not fixed. It may vary from year to year depending upon the availability of profit. So depending upon the profitability of the business, suppose if there is huge profit, equity shareholders will get high rate of dividend. But if there is no profit, then the equity shareholders have to suffer because they will not get any dividend and they have to suffer. Okay, so because the rate of dividend for the equity shareholders is not fixed. Now coming to your preference shareholders are paid dividend at a fixed rate. If there is profit or loss, preference shareholders will get a fixed rate of dividend. Suppose if the organization is in loss, then what happens? That year profit will accumulate to the next year. So next year if the organization earns profit, then the amount or the rate of dividend whatever to be given to the preference shareholders along with the last year's profit as well as that current year profit has to be given to the preference shareholders. So that would be the benefit for the preference shareholders. So they will get a fixed rate of dividend. Next, areas of dividend. So in case of equity shares, dividend cannot accumulate. So I have already told you. So what happens if the profit is more, equity shareholders will get high rate of dividend. But so suppose if the organization is in loss, that year equity shareholders have to suffer, but their dividend will not accumulate to the next year. But in case of preference shares, if dividend is not paid on these shares in any year, the arrears of dividend may accumulate. So I have told you, suppose in the last year if there was loss, but the fixed rate of dividend whatever to be given to the preference shareholders, it is not given in that particular year, but that rate of dividend will accumulate to the next year. Okay, so that would be the advantage. Next, third one, preferential right as to the payment of dividend. So who will have more preferential right? Your preference shareholders. So Once the preference shareholders are paid, then only if there is any profit, excess profit is left in the business, then the equity shareholders are paid. So, payment of dividend on equity share is made after the payment of preference dividend. So, preference shareholders will be paid dividend only after the payment of preference shareholders, the dividend to the preference shareholders. They have a right, now coming to your preference shares, they have a right to receive dividend before any dividend is paid to the equity shares. Now, who will have preferential right? Preference shareholders will have preferential right in receiving of dividend. So, once the dividend is paid to the preference shareholders, then if any excess amount is left, then the profit goes for equity shareholders. Next one is preferential right as to payment of capital. Here also, during winding up of the company, who will be given more preference in repayment of capital? Your preference shareholders. But equity shareholders will not have that right. So, equity share capital is paid only when the preference share capital is paid out fully. So, here equity shareholders will be paid only after the capital is being paid to the preference shareholders. Then if any amount is left, then the equity shareholders will be paid. Preference shares, so they have a right to return of capital in the case of winding up before any capital is returned or which is given to the equity shareholders. So, in case of repayment of capital also, these preference shareholders will have preferential right. Next is voting rights. So, who will be having voting rights? Your equity shareholders. Equity shareholders enjoy voting rights. So, through their votes, they will appoint the board of directors who undertake the affairs of the business. But preference shareholders do not have any voting rights. So, the concept is simple. So, equity shareholders will have voting rights and they have the right to vote or elect the members or the board of directors of the organization, whereas preference shareholders do not have any voting right. Next, right to participate in the management. So, who will have the right to participate in the management? So, your equity shareholders have full right to participate in the management of the company. But when compared to your preference shareholders, they do not have any right to participate in the management of the company. The point is simple here. Now coming to the next concept, share capital of a company. So let us see how this share capital has been divided. Okay. So the amount collected by the company from its members, that is shareholders, is called as what? Share capital. Now the amount which is collected by issuing of shares, so that huge amount is called as what? Share capital. One who holds share is called as what? Shareholders. So that small unit where the whole share capital is divided into small unit, that is called as what? Shares. For example, if there is 10 lakh, so 10 lakh has to be raised by issue of shares. So this huge amount is called as what? Share capital. So share capital. This huge share capital is divided into smaller units of rupees 10 each. So, all these smaller units of rupees 10 each is called as what? Shares. One who holds shares. So, one who holds shares is called as what? Shareholder. One who holds shares, that is called as what? Shareholder. Now, shareholders are what? They are the real owners of the business. Okay. So, this is about the concept of shares. Now, I have told you the amount which is being collected by issue of shares is called as what? Share capital. For accounting point of view, share capital is known by different names in different stages. So, how this share capital is being called by different names under different stages. Now, coming to the first one, authorized capital. Now, let us see what is this authorized capital. It is the amount of share capital which a company is authorized to issue by its memorandum of association. So, memorandum of association is one of the important document of the company where, so what is the capital which is mentioned in the memorandum of association? So, that authorized amount is called as what? Authorized capital. It is also called as nominal or registered capital. So, the amount which is mentioned in the memorandum of association, that is authorized amount. So, that amount is called as what? Authorized capital. So, hope you are clear about this concept. Next one is issued capital. Okay, so let us see what is this issued capital. Now the 10 lakh is being mentioned in your memorandum of association. Now what it is? This is called as what? Authorized capital. Now issued capital. So it is that part of authorized capital which is actually issued to the public for subscription. Now 10 lakh was mentioned in the memorandum of association, which is a authorized amount, which is called as what? Authorized capital. Now issued capital is a part of authorized capital. So let us take 9 lakh. So it is a part of authorized capital which is called as what? Issued capital, which is actually issued to the public. Okay, so it need not be whatever the amount which is mentioned in the memorandum of association, the same capital amount has to be issued to the public. So this issued capital is a part of authorized capital which is actually issued to the public. The remaining part of the authorized capital is known as what? Unissued capital, which can be issued later on. Now unissued capital here in this example is how much? 1 lakh. So 9 lakh is issued capital. So it is a part of authorized capital, and that 1 lakh which is pending, which is not been issued to the public, that is called as what? Unissued capital. Now subscribed capital. So it is that part of issued capital. So let us take the example here, 8 lakh. So 8 lakh. So it is that part of your issued capital. So this is called as what? Subscribed capital. So what is subscribed capital? It is that part of issued capital which has been actually subscribed by the public. Now 9 lakh we have issued to the public, but did the public have subscribed all the capital? No. So it has subscribed only for 8 lakh amount. So that is known as what? Subscribed capital. So what is subscribed capital? It is a part of issued capital which is actually subscribed by the public. If say 13,000 shares of ₹100 each are offered to the public and the public have applied only for 12,000 shares. So the subscribed capital is how much? 12 lakh. So here hope you are clear. So what is subscribed capital? It is a part of issued capital which is actually being subscribed by the public. We have issued 9 lakh share capital, but how much they have subscribed for? Only 8 lakh. Okay, so hope you are clear about subscribed capital. Next one is called up capital. So it is that part of subscribed capital which is called up on the shares. Now 8 lakh we have. So this is what? Issued capital. Now what is called up capital? It is that part of, now let us take as 7 lakh. So this is that part of your issued capital which is called up on the shares. So how much the company have actually called up? So we had an issued capital of 8 lakh, but how much the company have actually called up from the shareholders? That is 7 lakh. So this is what? This is called up capital. This is called up capital. So called up capital is a part of issued capital which is being actually called up for the public. Now what do you mean by paid up capital? So let us take it as 6 lakh. Now this is paid up capital. So it is that part of called up capital which is actually paid by the public. Now we have called for 7 lakh, but how much the public have paid? Only 6 lakh. That is paid up capital. So it is that part of called up capital which has been actually received from the shareholders. We have actually received from the shareholders is how much? Only 6 lakh. That is paid up capital. So hope you are clear about. So this is the share capital of the company where we have authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, then called up as well as paid up. So hope you are clear about this concept. So this is about your share capital of the company. So where we have all these stages, okay, authorized, issued, subscribed, then called up as well as paid up capital. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. See you all in my next session with the new concepts. Till then, take care. Thank you.